Hey guys, Raider78 here. Welcome back to another episode of How to Do More Damage. This is part 12, Flak with Guns. Kicking off this episode with some review from the last one about Flak's formula, is that having a lot of general damage gives you a great starting point to really scale your damage. That's because not many other things boost global damage as much as Flak does, and you're also not actually getting that much gun or crit damage in your tree. Certainly a respectable amount, but not a lot. So that means that damage boosts from other sources can really scale your damage hard. Moving on to these boosts that I have listed here. For gun damage in your skill tree, Grim Harvest and the Horn Skag are probably the only ones where you're not really relying on those on most builds. Grim Harvest is not good for gun builds because the skill damage is way more valuable, but all these other skills are a fairly decent buff to your gun damage and should be active a good majority of the time. But the big one here is the stack bot. The stack bot is a gigantic number for skilled gun damage and is how you're going to melt bosses with guns so easily, aside from shenanigans with Interplanetary Stalker. For crit damage, you're going to notice that there's post-add, and that's not a good thing because they don't scale that well, which I'll show you later. But for crit damage, you're also not really actually getting that much for the funny crit character. Most dangerous game, Galactic Shadow and Ambush Predator. Ambush Predator I wouldn't trust that much, but these two skills, the first two, are really your only crit damage, and it's less crit damage than Amara gets off one skill. So now it's time to really pay attention, because if you notice that there's a bold 2, that's the base crit mult. And you can see all those other scale boosts that apply to that. And then all this fadeaway stuff and Hunter's Eye doesn't. They get massively watered down by just headshotting. You can still headshot and fadeaway, but the thing is that you're massively outclassing the fadeaway crit bonus unless you're using 3-shot, because it's such a big number. And that's why you'll see it called a fake crit, and you should never ever call Flak a crit character, because every character in the game wants to headshot. And this is just something to take note of, that fadeaway, especially Gorillas in the Mist, basically doesn't boost your damage at all. Unless you Megavore crit. Otherwise, always go for headshots, no matter what. You want crit boosts. Onto the stack bot. This thing basically acts like consecutive hits in a way. 5% stack per stack, 99 stacks. And then we just have some other global damage from pack tactics and some other skills like Frenzy and Interplanetary Stalker, but those likely won't be too active in this testing. And we're just gonna walk up to a Skag and use Gorillas in the Mist to keep up the stack bot, because that's the only reason it exists, to make Gorillas in the Mist good. So we started off with like 5,000 damage or something, and we end up at 38,000. We have that roughly 6 times gun damage, and just Flak's insane formula going in, and well, we're out of fadeaway, and now the damage sucks. So how the stack bot works, like I said, is that it's your biggest damage boost with guns, providing up to 495% skill weapon damage, 99 stacks of 5%. So the way this works is that any form of critical hit with a bullet provides a stack, and any sort of bullet damage you deal that does not crit can reset it. So that includes the Hunter Seeker and ASC 50s if they do not proc Megavore. Some launchers don't inherit the auto crit from fadeaway, like the Plague Bearer and Hive and Backburner, which can really affect some one-shot strats. However, guns like the Face Puncher does not reset the stack bot, because it doesn't do bullet damage, it does melee damage. But it can benefit from it because it's a gun, which leads us to the next section. Here I am with the Face Puncher and the stack bot. This is Punch Bot by Laser Data, and you can see it's just cranking out a lot of damage because it's abusing melee related effects like the static charge and main scaling, and just slapping 500% gun damage more or less onto it to just get like nasty hollow points like right here, and just crank out a ton of damage that most guns cannot compete with. I mean, just look at this. I don't even have to aim at every enemy to do a ton of damage. The static charge is the aiming for you, and big hollow point, which is just a flag thing to fade away. But and look at this, how many shots? 2 shots because I missed most of that. And then if you look here, it's just chaining to all the enemies, and I only have to aim at one enemy to kill a room, although my aim sucks. Look at that, 1, 2 shots, easy. And since you can't actually crit with the face puncher, you're getting a whole lot of mileage out of the fadeaway bonus, since it's basically just acting like a pure multiplier instead of a sad garbage multiplier. And here my fire rate just skyrockets because of my revolter. Yeah, once I kill this guy. Let's look at Rhoda. Normally she sucks. Bam. That's it. Easy. And you're abusing lifesteal, which you don't need, really, but if you go down, then you gotta restack your stack bot, and no one wants to do that. So, look at that. Couldn't even show off the area damage, but hey, it doesn't matter. It's dead. Punch bot. It's great. The last thing I want to talk about is Flak synergy with corrosive damage. Here I have a Flesh Melter and especially the Bounty Hunter. It is the big thing here, and the Breath of the Dying and Reflux, which are 2 of Flak's best guns. And the main thing at play is Interplanetary Stalker. You know, the skill that gives you 13% global damage and is a hunter skill. If you look at this 7.5% corrosive damage per stack, this is a pre-add. It's basically a multiplier to corrosive. It doesn't add with the Flesh Melter, it multiplies with the Flesh Melter. And since the Flesh Melter is giving us like 160% corrosive damage, and the way the Bounty Hunter works is that when you kill an enemy, it makes every boost from Interplanetary Stalker actually proc. So you could kill literally anything, or just shoot it, and you're gonna get the corrosive damage. So as you get corrosive kills, your corrosive gets stronger and stronger. And we're getting a little bit of Hunter's Eye on some enemies sometimes, but not in Guardian Takedown. And then some other stuff for the build, you know, Power Inside for in Hidden Machine for global damage. So we just walk up to these enemies, and here's a Breath of the Dying. Not the most impressive for single target damage in Guardian Takedown, but you can see when you kill one enemy, bam, all those enemies are dead. So this is a multi-target gun that, since you're playing Flak, you have the damage to brute force into single target. Same thing with the Reflux. The single target's fine for now, but it's gonna skyrocket once we start. Look at that. The whole area just dies. You only have to kill one enemy to kill all of them. And you're shoving all of your damage boosts from playing Flak into the Reflux. So you kill one enemy to kill all of them. You're doing more damage by using guns like this that really synergize with your kit, because the Reflux is corrosive lock and it's cracked. Look at that. That was a hollow point, because of course it did. And then just silly Herald, because it's a good corrosive gun. Well, it's a good gun that can be corrosive, so you just brain off Herald. And I am using a Revolter, but results may vary if you don't use a Revolter against Guardians. This place has a lot of health, but hey, you know, just do more damage. It's that simple.